So, good morning everyone. We are the group 4 and we will discuss about digital postmaster. So, my assigned topic is viewing email. So, some business have strict policies regarding viewing other people's email. So, email is a business record. So, to view an email message concerning a management action is the same as pulling someone's employment records out of the file cabinet in human resources. So, no one is more vulnerable to this temptation than those with system rights, such as the postmaster and system administrators, because they have the computer authority to access any email file. So, this section discusses the ethics of viewing unsolicited email, traffic analysis, and mailing lists. Handling bounce emails, to look or not. So, before there were mass mailing worms, when you saw an email bounce, there was usually a good reason. So, what is mass mailing worms? Mailing worm, also known as an email worm or less commonly known as an internet worm, distributes copies of itself in an infectious email attachment. Often, these infected emails are sent to email addresses that a worm harvests from file on an infected computer. So, Postmaster. So, as the Postmaster, you should know that email can be notoriously unreliable. One incorrect character in an email address will cause it to bounce. Email bounces. So, if the email has been bounced back, is marked as non-existent email address. The email address you have on file for the intended recipient doesn't exist. So, conservative should be a policy of not reading the content of the email. Look away. So, unless there is a real investigation involving individual email addresses, this should be the golden rule. Even so, the postmaster should not be reading emails but rather providing copies to investigators. Liberal. An extra pair of eyes is always good to have when there is so much abuse and misuse of email. Overall, the postmaster's primary responsibility is to deliver email from a legitimate sender to the legitimate receiver. The only time the postmaster should read email content is when a law enforcement or internal security probe has been approved. So, traffic analysis, looking at who gets what. Now, traffic analysis does not involve content. It is also a method that intelligence agencies use to glean information about enemy activities. They cannot decipher the encrypted communications. Who communicates with whom? Who communicates with whom, when, and how often can be almost as important as what is said. Conservative. Traffic analysis can reveal so much about users' private communication. This is an unethical way to circumvent any existing policies that prevent you from reading the content, the subject, to and from addresses, and the frequency of the communication all add up to a serious breach of privacy. Liberal. Header information is the only part of the email, so do not read the emails. So you do not read them. You are just looking for an abuse and someone trying to hijack the server for spamming others. So overall, traffic analysis exposes unexpectedly detailed and private information. Keep this practice to permitted investigations and reasonable troubleshooting to protect your users' privacy expectations as specified by business policy. So, mailing list. What about reading public content? So, public mailing list. Many users subscribe to public mailing lists. The content of these lists are logged and available on the web, so internet is not a safe place since it is public domain. Conservative. Treat, treat this as regular email. There is sensitivity to the mere fact that the user subscribes to the list. So, the list cannot may be public. But what if a user wants to lurk and read, but not participate in the log traffic? Treat the membership itself as confidential information. So, liberal is in the public domain. So all in all, The rule of secrets is that you tell no one. It is a secret. If you tell one other person, it possibly remains a secret. If you tell five, you have told the world. While some consider mailing lists public, not all mailing lists receive full posting on the internet. There is a sensitive information in this type of traffic, which varies from personal interests and habits to identifying political agenda or seeking support for a medical condition. So, stumbling upon email. What happens when you look? So, as the postmaster, you occasionally receive an email but it's not for you personally. Is reading mail that you stumble upon ever okay? Simply the answer is no. It is because it is not intended for you to read nor open it. This acts as a privacy to the sender unless you have the permission to read it or open it. Conservative, never read email that you stumble upon. This violates the privacy of the users. Liberal, so it's legitimate. If I can use it as an excuse to look into the email habits of certain people that I do not like or trust. So, always be certain that you are not stumbling into an excessive number of emails from a specific person or group. This is unethical and discriminating. In order to prevent a spam, keep in mind that it's not always required to read the content of an email in order to determine if it is spam or not. Therefore, reduce the intrusiveness of the vetting processes by scanning only the email header information first. So, viewing customer content. If you cannot see it, how can you help? Chat is an actual exchanging between a user of a webmail service and its technical support department. So for example, the user wrote to tech support asking them to resolve a problem with the webmail. So customer, every time I download an attachment, I have to log out and log in order to access my other emails. The web blocks off due to the attachment. I thought you might want to know. Please let me know that the problems is it's not my computer. It's every computer I use work on this webmail. So webmail. Hello. For attachments, I need to know which emails. I look through a few emails and can only see image files. How are you downloading emails? What links are you using? So based on their conversation, it was making him log out and log back in each time he downloaded an attachment to the computer via webmail interface. So if we look at the exchange from the customer's perspective, there is obvious surprise by the customer at the technical support department's action in attempting to resolve the problem. So the technical support department should get permission from the customers to do this. So the customer might feel this a breach of privacy and thus a violation of trust. Shouting at the customer is also not good internet etiquette coming from the support department, especially when a customer feels violated. A technical support team can help you with any problems you're having, finish some of more time consuming procedures that need to be done, or help you with projects. This this frees up your time to work on other critical businesses initiatives and support other employees. So liberal, the customer wants help. So technical support tried to replicate the problem in order to solve it. That is how things work. Technical support was just doing their job and did not anything unrelated to other technical issue at hand. Users should know that there is no privacy on the internet. So common courtesy would indicate that technical support make it explicitly know it would have download attachment from the customer's email and let the customer decide what to do, minimizing the number of attachments viewed in the solution. It is if the customer know upfront, there will be no surprises and no breach of trust and privacy. Always in mind that the expectation of privacy that users have may default and be sympathetic when telling them that you have been looking through their emails. They might not appreciate your efforts to help them if they get the attachment without explicit permission. So this space follow company policy. The postmaster at a large company and the CEO was running out of this space on his share of the email server. So the company policy is to file a request to the postmaster to increase the disk quota and then build the excess storage space of the departmental budget of the person making the request. So conservative, this space is cheap and not worth even 1 minute of CEO's time. Upgrade the disk space and leave the content undiscovered. So liberal, the job entails managing the displays, a limited resource so that email storage is available to everyone. If the higher ups get away with it, else will clog up the servers with useless email. So there is no reason to read the CEO's or nobody else's email if there is already a policy in the place to update this space on a regular basis, especially if they are paying for the demand on the storage resource. This should not be a difficult decision. So that is all, sir. Thank you once again. Have a good day.